I'm so happy that you took the time to come to be here with us today. As you know, our district governor, Mr. Jeremy Hurst, and his wife Michelle has been with us for this week, and we're coming to the end of our week where we've been going around the community and visiting projects and getting acquainted with the clubs here in the BVI. And we've sent you some information, but we thought it was a good idea to bring you here at this press conference and give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have as it relates to the projects that we've been looking at, as it relates to Rotary on a whole, as we have the district governor here with us. So I've kept you here long enough, so we're going to go right in, and we're going to ask the district governor to begin the press conference with a statement. Of course, after we've had presentations from all of our panelists, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. Okay? District Governor, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for coming here this afternoon. It's a great pleasure for us to be here, and we certainly appreciate the attendance of the press. The third most important part of Rotary International Strategic Plan is to be able to tell the world about the great things Rotary is doing, in BVI and the other communities throughout the district and throughout the Rotary world. And of course, you are a very important part of enabling that to happen. And so once again, we do appreciate your presence here and would look forward to answering any questions you may have. Just to give you a little background about Rotary and where BVI sits in the big picture, Rotary International is a worldwide-based, globally based service organization comprising of business leaders and community leaders. The key component for the Rotary organization, even though we are global, is the Rotary Club. And whatever we do is done via and through Rotary Clubs. They are our vehicle to deliver community and humanitarian service throughout the Rotary world. The Rotary world currently comprises 34,000 Rotary Clubs in over 530 districts with 1.2 million members approximately. But the family of Rotary extends much wider than just the members of the Rotary Clubs. We also have here with us today Rotaractors, who are what I like to call Rotarians in waiting. They have this passion of Rotary at that age of between 18 and 30. We also have interactors in our schools and in our communities, and we have a great Interact Club also in Tortola here, as well as early act clubs for the really young Rotarians or interactors and Rotaractors in training from the age of 5 upwards. And that is really what Rotary is about, is trying to get the concept of service above self, which is our motto, not only into our communities, but into our future leaders with these youth programs we have, and meeting the needs of our communities. And that's, in essence, what Rotary was formed for. That's one of the things in any case. The second part of it is we want to do that at the same time as we're enjoying ourselves. We want Rotary to be an enjoyable experience for our Rotarians. We understand in these difficult economic times that there's a lot of challenges, there's a lot of stresses on our pocketbook, on the amount of time we have available. But we want to make sure, therefore, the experience that Rotarians have, they feel when they come to the Rotary meetings, when they're part of that community service effort that we have collectively, is felt positively, and they get a tremendous reward from the time they invest into Rotary. I, as a district governor, was appointed in July 1st last year. My term of office runs for a year. The past district governor, the immediate past district governor, is your very own Vance Lewis from BVI. And as you can see from that, we tend to circulate or rotate the position in the office throughout our district. Our district is a very unique district. Unlike some districts, for example, you may have a number of Rotary clubs brought together, 50, 60, 70, 80 Rotary clubs in Greater Washington or North Miami. Our district comprises 10 countries, including BVI, of course, and 16 islands with 2,500 Rotarians and 84 Rotary clubs. And it's the responsibility of the district governor to visit each and every one of those clubs during his tenure, during the first part of his year, to give those clubs encouragement, to help them strengthen themselves so they can become better organized, better focused, so they can deliver even higher levels of humanitarian and community service into the communities. And I'm very happy to say that from what I've seen in BVI, along with my assistant governor, Dalma here, who's done a tremendous job in coordinating this trip for me, and I would like to thank her and her committee for that. But from what I've seen in BVI, the state of Rotary is exceptionally strong. And I include in that the Early Act clubs, the Interact clubs, and the Rotaract clubs. And I would like to congratulate BVI congratulate the Rotarians here for the tremendous job they do in the community. And it's an important time for us to do that job, because obviously in these difficult economic times, it's a point where the needs are greatest. So the challenge for Rotary is when it's hardest to be a Rotarian, there's pressures on our time, on our treasure, on our talent. We have to rise to that challenge and make sure that we deliver the service to the community that the community needs. So once again, I'd just like to thank you and thank the Rotarians here for the tremendous time they've given my wife Michelle and I as we've traveled around. We've met with 3 clubs now. We've met with 3 Early Act clubs this morning. We're going to be meeting with the Interact and the Rotaract clubs this afternoon. And we're looking greatly forward to a big event this coming weekend on Saturday when the 3 Rotary clubs of BVI, Tortola, have sponsored Rotary into Virgin Gorda. And we're breaking ground by starting Rotary in Virgin Gorda, not with a Rotary club, coincidentally, but with a Rotaract club. So that's a tremendous time for Rotary in the British Virgin Islands, a time to celebrate. And I know Virgin Gorda will benefit greatly from having the family of Rotary presence there in the form of a new Rotaract club. So thank you once again. Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Delma Maduro, the Assistant Governor for the Rotary family within the British Virgin Islands. And we are indeed very, very pleased to have had District Governor Jeremy Hurst and his lovely wife Michelle with us over the last several days. I'm sure, I know, because we're already feeling the new energies from his visits so far. And as you've heard, he has another day or 2 left with us. I think a couple of the things that we would like to follow up on from his visit, we've been inspired, we've been reminded of the great networking family, the great network structure that we have within Rotary. And I think one of the takeaways that we're going to be looking at here in the BVI is how we might be able to work more closely, more diligently, particularly as it relates to the Caribbean Partnership Program, which allows us to link up with international clubs from all around the world. And we have a unique opportunity here in the BVI because we get tremendous amount of Rotarian visitors on a regular basis, and we need to look and see how we might be able to strengthen the relationships with persons who visit us, and perhaps use that as well as other means to strengthen that Caribbean partnership with international partners. The other thing that we have been encouraged to do, which is the norm, but our DG Jeremy really drove it home, the need for us to continue to keep our membership engaged and continue to make sure that the quality of work and the quality of the Rotarians are such that we're able to deliver on the promise that we have made as Rotarians. So that is something that we're going to be looking at very closely, those 2 points. And we, of course, are very excited about the presentation of the charter to the new Rotaract Club in Virgin Gorda, and this is going to be happening on Saturday night. One thing I'd like to mention, as you all know, we're a service organization, and one of the things that we do is look out for the interest and the needs within communities, and not just the BVI community. You would recall that when was it, a couple weeks after Christmas, no, a week or so after the holidays, we got together and announced that we would be assisting the people of St. Vincent with relief supplies, with their relief effort, and we partnered with the St. Vincent Association, Red Cross Lions, and we have in our midst today Mr. Sean Rose, who is the president of the St. Vincent Association. We partnered with them and were able to work in assisting the St. Vincent Association to get supplies, emergency supplies, into St. Vincent and the Grenadines. At the press conference then, we did indicate, we being the family of Rotary, indicated that we would be coming up with a program to offer some relief to St. Lucia as well. And I'm very pleased to say that this is definitely definitely going to take some root, and we're going to be doing something on that within the next couple of weeks. We have been very, very busy, so within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be working closely together as a family of Rotary to bring some relief there. And I might add that we were reminded only yesterday that from the past assistant governor in St. Lucia and another senior Rotarian there that the need is still very great. And so there was a cry, an appeal to us here in the Virgin Islands to lend some support to the island of St. Lucia. And we're going to be focusing on food and clothing. And the food that we're going to be focusing on will be primarily dry goods, because again, the past assistant governor indicated that almost everyone lost their refrigerators, so they cannot deal with anything that's chilled. And so we will be looking at dry goods going down to St. Lucia. So I am asking the BVI community, as usual, the community here is wonderful, and I'm asking again on behalf of the BVI family of Rotary and the people of St. Lucia for the community to come out as you normally do and lend support. We hope that we'll be able to send a minimum of one 40-foot container down to St. Lucia within the next week or so. Again, thank you very much. I'd now pass the mic on to Mr. Norman Allen, our president of the Rotary Club Sunrise.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Norman Allen, the president of Rotary Club Sunrise, as A.G. Delma just indicated. I just wanted to echo some of what she just said with regards to the relief in St. Lucia. I was in St. Lucia Christmas Eve when the flood event took place, and I saw some of the devastation myself. And one of the reasons why we focused on St. Vincent first was because the devastation was greater there, but it doesn't diminish the fact that St. Lucia is also in need. And some of the emails that we've been seeing lately indicate that that is still a desperate situation. I know that a lot of us have already given clothes and food items for St. Vincent, but we're going to be pleading for you to continue to make those donations to the Red Cross. The Red Cross is our collection point, and from there we will then send it down to St. Lucia. As far as our club is concerned, the Rotary Club Sunrise of Rotown, we are focusing this year on making a renovation at the Rainbow Children's Home. Last year we put in a ramp to allow a handicapped individual, to be able to get in and out of that facility. Now what we're doing is taking it to the next step, which is to break down some walls and make a handicapped bathroom for him so that he can come in and out and use the shower. It seems like a simple need, but it's one that has been neglected for too long, and we're going to do something about it. And the other thing that I want to mention is at Christmas time, we have a tradition where we go to Peebles Hospital and we sing for the patients at Peebles Hospital. And this year we did that just a couple of days before Christmas, and about maybe 9 or 10 of us, we played the organ and sang, those of us who can sing. And it still touches me as a Rotarian and as an individual that one of the patients that was able, he came out and he wanted to give us, I think it was a $10 or $20 bill that he took from his pajama pants, because he was so moved by what we did. And that to me is one of the things that makes Rotary such a wonderful thing, where we can touch the lives of so many people, sometimes by just doing the very simple things that some of us maybe take for granted. Thank you.
Good afternoon to you all. My name is Charles Crane. I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Rotown. And I would just like to reiterate some of what A.G. Delma said, that one of the wonderful things about Rotary is our ability to respond to crises around the world. And we've seen it in so many occasions where the BVI has done just that in terms of the tsunami in Asia, recently in Haiti, and now in St. Vincent. And that's something about Rotary that we can do that. But speaking closer to home, our club, the Rotary Club of Rotown's main focus, or main two focuses, has been on youth and on health. And one of the projects that we are working on this year is, in the past we've been supporters of the People's Hospital dialysis unit, and we've provided new machines for dialysis. But we recognize that whilst there is a need for the machines, there's a much bigger need to educate the public, and particularly our youth, how they can avoid contracting diabetes. And we're going to launch an educational program with the help of clubs in the United States, and I think with the E-Club in St. Thomas, to get sufficient funds available to launch a countrywide campaign that will educate the youth through the schools, the primary schools, through the high school, on the steps that they can take to reduce their risks of contracting diabetes. This is not a short-term program. This is a program that's going to take probably years to instill that sort of change of culture in reaching for the soda can instead going for a bottle of water. And that's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of effort, but we're willing to give it to get it going. We have our health fair coming up very shortly, which we do every year, and that will be done in mid-March. And in support for our youth, DG Jeremy talked about the Early Act clubs. We have sponsored 2 Early Act clubs at present. We sponsor the Interact Club. We're great supporters for Rotaract, and indeed we are, as the other 2 clubs are, sponsors for the Rotaract Club in Virgin Gorda coming up, and we're extremely excited by the prospect of that and think it has great potential. So that's, I think, probably enough for me. I'll pass you over to Stephen.
Good afternoon. Stephen Cooper, Vice President of the Rotary Club of Tortola. I've been asked to just do a brief report on some of the projects we've been involved with this year in the local community. We've been busy with a couple of our schools. Joyce Samuel up at Bellevue, we've had a few projects going there. New computers for classrooms, an initiative to do some reading with the children. And also we've been involved in renovating some of the playground equipment, and some of these are still a little ongoing, but there's some good progress been made there. And also we've been doing some playground equipment down at Alexandrina Medoro, down at Borgers Bay. We've also done projects this year with the Red Cross. You may have noticed their charity shop is a little sprucer. We've been in there painting and refitting so that they've got a nicer environment really for their retail store. What else have we been up to? We have something called the H.O. Creaky Scholarship Fund. This is a fund that's been contributed to over many years from various Rotary fundraising events. And this year, a donation was given to a young chap called Delroy Gordon, who has special needs, and he currently is out in the States having some specialist education which is helping him progress. He was back here recently and he was markedly improved. So that was really good. Further away, we've been working in Haiti now for some years, and this year we've been involved in funding the Clean Water Project, which has been digging 5 new wells in areas where there's no clean water locally, and building a public bathroom where there is a well but there's no privacy, so it enables the folks there to bathe in private. And finally, just a quick plug, we have our big fundraiser coming up called the Grand Affair. This year it's going to be held at Government House. It's on the 29th of March.
Afternoon, everyone. I am Antonio Maynard, the president of the Rotaract Club of Tortola. We'd just like to start by giving a little bit of information on Rotaract. Rotaract is the youth arm of Rotary from the ages 18 to 30. Rotaract actually means Rotary in Action. Some of the projects that we've been involved with is the Adina Donovan Home, which we visit monthly. We donate basic items for them, and soon we'll be repainting some of the rooms for the tenants. also coming up, we will be doing a district-wide project. Like DG Jeremy mentioned earlier, we have a district of 10 countries, and throughout the country, the Rotary clubs will be providing eye care to some children around from class 3 to 4. In the BVI, we'll be providing 50 glasses to 50 students. And in the U.S. Virgin Islands, we'll also be doing 50. We'll be partnering with both clubs in the BVI and the USVI, so when we're finished with here, we'll be going over to St. Thomas and helping out with their project. We will also be doing a CATS program, which is a signature project of Rotary, where we provide instructors for the program. We deal with the basic ski skills program, where we teach children the basic boating safety skills and what to do in case of emergency on water. That program will be starting in April. And Rotaractors are starting training right now so we can properly teach the children. We've also done a painting project where we selected a family in need in the community, and we provided them with some food, donated some food for them for the Christmas season, and we started renovating their house along with the BVI Fire Department, who will be doing tiling of the entire home, and our members provided paint and the labor for painting of the home. That will be continuing shortly. And along with that, I'd just like to mention again that the Virgin Gorda Rotary Club will be forming on Saturday, which we're very happy to have them in the family. That will add an addition of 4 clubs in the Virgin Islands, basically, which will be St. Thomas, USVI, Virgin Gorda, and Tortola. We're governed by the same person, so that's why I would mention both USVI and British Virgin Islands. And that would be it for me today.
Thank you so much. We'll open up the floor for any questions that you may have. Any questions?
Gordon French, BVI Platinum. Just a question to the district governor. You visited several projects yesterday, and you've been in the BVI for close to a week now. What would you be taking away from your visit from this trip?
Well, apart from the fact that you've got some of the highest hills and steepest roads I've seen for a long time, I think going back to what I said previously to the clubs, each Rotary club I visited, I've now visited 80 out of the 84 in District 7020, has unique characters and its own unique flavor, so to speak. So we have 3 clubs in Tortola, breakfast, lunch, and now an evening club as well. So we have lots of choices for Rotarians who either want to make up, which is something we do, and also Rotarians who want to join Rotary, who want to get involved, business leaders, community leaders who really like the idea of getting that tremendous feeling we get when we serve our communities for themselves, a reward of return on investment in terms of the passion we put in and that great feeling when we achieve something in the community. But I think the things that have really struck home to me here have been the fact that how the clubs are very good at working and identifying the very real needs of the communities, and very dedicated in following those real needs into actions. And I had the pleasure of meeting both the governor and the premier, and I think one of the messages that came across from them and has come across from every time I've met with their counterparts throughout the Caribbean and the other countries is that it's so important to our Caribbean communities, and the BVI is definitely included in that, that we as small communities work together and that we don't just rely upon government to provide the services. So the service clubs in places like BVI have a far greater significance in many ways to the success and the stability of our islands than many other places in the world. And I think recognizing the fact that we are citizens of these small islands, that we can work together, we have to work together to be effective, is something that the Rotary clubs and the family of Rotary and BVI has done especially well. They are an integral part of the community. I see the respect they get from the community. I see the tremendous respect they give to the community and the investment they have in the community. And in our small islands, that's something which will, in my opinion, I'm sure in the opinion of many others, guarantee our success, or help to guarantee our success as we move through these difficult times.
District Governor Sean Rose, GTV News. As governor for some 10 countries, Rotary clubs in 10 countries. How does the BVI distinguish itself from some of these countries in terms of strengths and weaknesses?
Well, these 10 countries are very different countries in many ways. There are some with very great similarities, but we have a diverse range of types of countries within our district, and that's what makes our district so unique, its diversity. We have countries such as BVI, which I understand has about 30,000 residents. We have countries such as Jamaica, 2.7 million residents and 20 Rotary clubs. And those such as Haiti, which, as we all know, have had massive problems recently following the earthquake and challenges historically before that, which have only 20 Rotary clubs, but 11 million people. In Haiti, for example, I would say probably 95% of the population or thereabouts lives below the poverty line, and when they wake up in the morning, the challenges are very different to the challenges that we have in places like the BVI and the Cayman Islands. When although we feel like we're having a hard time in recent years and the economy has been bad, when you put it into perspective of the day in the life of someone who wakes up in Haiti, it makes us realize how lucky we are. So, having said that, we can only really compare where we are today to where we've known in the past. So we know it's tougher in these communities. So if I was to distinguish between what are the strengths and weaknesses in relation to BVI, I think obviously it's a lot easier in countries which are smaller, and that I would include places like the Cayman Islands and some of the countries in Bahamas, which are lots of islands, of course, St. Martin, Anguilla, St. Bart's, those sort of countries. It's a little easier to deal with that, to come together to deal with these problems. It doesn't mean to say the problems are any less, because we have a smaller number of resources to deal with them. But at least in our countries, they're manageable. And we have been able to successfully do that. So certainly I would consider BVI, along with the Cayman Islands and Bahamas, have probably been one of the three strongest countries with strongest Rotary clubs, partly because our economies are strong as well. So the challenges are very different. But wherever I've been throughout the Caribbean, the clubs are doing a great job meeting those challenges, whatever the circumstances. I don't think I've found too many weaknesses in terms of what BVI does in Rotary. You've come off an excellent year last year. We had the first district governor in Vance Lewis. Certainly when you have a district governor from your own land, there's a sense of pride, an opportunity because you will hold your district conference here. And that sometimes gives a boost, even though it's a lot of hard work and can put a lot of stress. It brings the clubs together. So what I particularly like about what's going on in BVI is the way the clubs are working together. And two examples of that are the fact that, for example, we have an Interact Club here, which is a community-based Interact Club. We have a Rotaract Club, which is working very closely with not just its sponsor club, but with all three clubs. And I think the perfect example most recently is how the clubs have come together to help your neighbors in St. Lucia and across the areas that were hit very hard with the storms over Christmas. And the clubs as a whole have done that and really sort of brought the community together to do that, just in the same way as they did with Haiti a few years ago, where I think $350,000 was raised by a telethon. By the way, that was the largest single amount any island and any country in the Caribbean raised through Rotary for Haiti, and I want to congratulate you for that. You've done a tremendous job in that regard. So your ability to come together, your ability to work as a team with Rotary, as a family of Rotary, I think is something which distinguishes the Rotary clubs in BVI from perhaps some other places in the world, where admittedly it's a little harder to do. But they're doing a great job.